Welcome back to the channel, guys, and in today's video we are going to showcase a Silph Showdown tournament in the Glacial Cups, and this tournament features ShagunBohra's run of 6-1, and he was able to clutch the victory in a 6-way tie. And the tournament had a lot of good players across the globe, and seeing an Empoleon topping the charts of this tournament is really great. And what makes this tournament even better for Shagun is that he lost the first round and had a pretty close had some of close games in the subsequent rounds, and still was able to clutch a victory. So for me, I am particularly not playing the Silph this season because of the remoteness. It tends to get like too boring and too mentally stressing for me. So I probably will join once the live tournaments return, and hopefully situation improves. But yeah, I hope you enjoy these tournaments. I really had I had a lot of fun at least shoutcasting these battles. So thanks Shogun for submitting these battles. And before we start with the tournament battles, if you're new to the channel and if you like the content, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. If you want to join the Battlestar Discord server, the link to that is in the description down below. I am hosting a tournament of my own in a different PvP format. So if you want to check that out, do land on the Discord channel. Also, if you are interested in to see some of the live battles that I do, then make sure to check out the Twitch channel as well. And lastly, if you want to submit your own battles for the channel feature, do check out the link to the Google Forms in the description down below. So without further delays, let's start with the battles and see how the battle goes. So let's start with the first battle of the day, and he leads Shadow Abomasnow into Froslass, which is a negative lead for Abomasnow unless you get the bait right. So he plays it safe and swaps into Malamar, and Malamar will be going for the foul play, and foul play will grab the shield, but Malamar is not a very bulky Pokemon, so Malamar also will need to invest a shield unless it wants to take a lot of damage. So now the opponent will make a swap into their Empoleon. So he goes for the foul play, maybe does not want to debuff the Malamar early in the game. So yeah, the opponent recognizes, and I don't even think that Super Pash would have KO'd. So a very safe shield, very safe no shield from the opponent side. And now I think he can simply go, excuse me, he can simply go straight foul plays. So foul play will knock out the Empoleon, so managed to get back the switch, but opponent will come in and farm down this Malamar with their own Froslass, and shields down Froslass is very dangerous. So I think this Empoleon will not will be put in yellow with the Shadow Ball, and it will depend on what Pokemon they have in the back. And since they are not swapping out, I think they have a good answer to Abomasnow in the back. So yeah, the Empoleon knocks out the Froslass, but they have a Poliwrath in the back, and Poliwrath will basically eat this team away with the Dynamic Punch. And I think Shagun stopped the recording because there was no way for Shagun to win that one. So so a bad start to the tournament, but yeah, I think this is the round which he ends up losing, and this is the only round that he loses in the entire tournament. And he puts in a lot of work and just goes on a rampage for the remaining six rounds. So we will have to see how he comes back from it, but we are in a Malamar matchup for the moment. So Malamar is barely not able to knock out the Froslass. Froslass is able to survive that foul play and will be able to knock out the Malamar, or not able to knock out the Malamar. Instead, Shagun decides to swap out of that matchup and decides to save some energy. I think he is not at a charge move though, so probably preserving Malamar for the sack swap in the end game. But here is the Poliwrath, and he's not able to get the bait right the first time, and he didn't charge up to an energy ball for the second time. So in a bad spot, to be honest. And let's see. So brings in Empoleon, and Poliwrath will have, again, it's a bait game, and Poliwrath is able to throw bait with an Ice Punch. So cannot really farm down, which probably was Shagun's win con, but yeah, unfortunate taking in loss on that one. But yeah, let's see how he comes back from the bad start. So the roles are reversed now. Now he is in a Froslass lead up against a Shadow Abomasnow, and looking at the opponent's team, he's rocking 4 Shadow Pokemon. Shadow Skuntank, Shadow XL Whirl, and not and but Shadow Beetle and Shadow Abomasnow. So it's not a very bulky team, especially with the added shadow nerf as well. So let's see how the opponent would play this one out. So is able to knock out the Froslass with the energy ball, but again the opponent is out of shield, and now he comes in with Malamar, and I think the opponents their rules have been kind of reversed as of the first game. I think what opponent did to him, Shagun was able to do the same kind of thing with 23 JB by forcing both the shields of the opponent. So the opponent will come in with Beetle, and there is no way out for the opponent, because the Beetle is taking a lot of damage with those waterfalls and will basically get one shot with the Hydro Cannon. So going for this Hydro Cannon, playing it safe, because Drill Run would just one shot at that range to Empoleon, and Froslass will come in, and I think one Hydro Cannon should barely be enough to knock out the Froslass. Yeah, not barely enough to knock out, and if it's a Shadow Ball, it's going to knock out the Empoleon. Did he lose this? Yeah, he ends up losing. Yeah, he ends up losing this one. Got it for Shagun, because in a tough spot, to be honest, but it is what it is. So losing pretty badly in the starting of the tournament, but he's in a Zweilous matchup now. So this matchup should purely depend on whether Whiscash is able to land a Blizzard or not, because Blizzard will basically one shot, and if not, if he manages to call it, which he is not, he cannot get his bait right in this tournament, I believe, because every time he thinks that it's a bait, it ends up being a hard hitting move, or the move with a one shot. And I think this is the mind games that you can play in the Silph tournaments, because Silph tournaments are very intensive at certain point of times, because the shield pressure is enough, and then there is this scoring thing going on, and if it's your weighted tournament, it just gets onto you. What I'm trying to say here is, and this is probably one of the reasons that I've taken a break from Silph competitions this season, and deciding not to play, because it was becoming very difficult for me to cope up. If in future the in-person tournaments come again, I'll probably play some games. But for now, I think I'll not be playing the Silph tournaments anymore. And Silph, although announced that they are going to have start the in-person tournaments from January, but looking at the present situation with the coronavirus, I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon. I hope and wish that things improve soon. Not just for the Pokemon Go, but just in general. It's been a long time since this pandemic has happened now, and okay, got sidetracked by a lot, but yeah, it's important to talk about the mental health as well. But yeah, coming back to the games, we are in a Malamar versus Abomasnow matchup. So I think this is the deciding round, the deciding game for this particular round. As you can see, the score is 1-1 all. So he has Empoleon and Froslass left in his game, and deciding to come in with Froslass, and I think he'll look to do a very aggressive farm down of his Froslass, because Froslass with energy is really dangerous. So yeah, the opponent also recognized that he was gonna get farmed down, and makes a swap onto their Whiscash, but Froslass has farmed a lot of energy, and and will be able to throw these avalanches almost back to back, and I think at some stage Shagun will look to catch onto their catch a move onto their what's that thing on their Empoleon. So but Whiscash does not allow to do that, and throws the charge move, and Empoleon, I don't think whether it will be able to survive. Should be able to survive a Mud Bomb at this range, because it's decent. It's not bulky, but still bulky enough. So Empoleon, the opponent transfers the waterfall damage onto their Beetle, and that probably was the win condition for Shagun. And I think the opponent outplayed himself. So moving on to the round three, and up against Felkmon 27. So Filkmont has 4 Pokemons that are same as of Shagun. Abomasnow, Froslass, Malamar, and Whiscash. The only difference is in Poliwrath and Hypno. And what I'm seeing is Poliwrath is very good up against Shagun's team. It has play against 5 or 6 Pokemons. So if an opponent's team has a Poliwrath, I think the opponent is definitely going to bring it. So the opponent goes for a Mud Bomb, and Malamar will go for a Super Power. So Super Power should be enough to knock out the Whiscash at this range. Or definitely, I thought that Whiscash was in yellow. So Whiscash goes for a Mud Bomb, gets knocked out, and I think Frostless with the energy, as I've said multiple times in a lot of my previous videos as well, with energy it's dangerous. So if at any point of time in any tournaments you get a chance to farm down, I think Froslass is probably the best Pokemon to farm down with. So Malamar will come in and takes a lot of damage from the Shadow Ball, but the opponent is able to catch this Avalanche onto their Poliwrath. And as I said, Poliwrath up against Shagun's team is looking very good. So if it's a Scald, it's going to KO at this range. So ends up being a Scald, barely not able to KO, and gets a attack debuff. Unfortunately, throws the Avalanche, gets shielded, and I think Abomasnow at this range is at this point of time is looking very good against the opponents. So farm some extra energy and go for the Energy Ball. Energy Ball should be able to knock out the Poliwrath, and in comes Malamar, gets farmed down and for the win. So GG's. Moving on to the next one, he is in a Malamar matchup now. So at this stage, I think just go for the foul plays, because both Super Power and Foul Play will be doing neutral damage, and the opponent is farming a bunch of energy. Maybe I don't think he has. I think I was going to say that he might try to catch a move onto their Poliwrath if he's running one. So but apparently not. So because the opponent has farmed a lot of energy and apparently wins a CMP. So going for this foul play brings Shagun's Malamar to very low, and going for a Super Power of his own. Now the opponent shields, and the opponent will throw the charge move. I was going to say that he might have gone for a very aggressive farm down. So Shagun let go of the switch advantage but has the shield advantage, and comes in with Abomasnow trying to farm down, and in comes Poliwrath. So Poliwrath will go for a Dynamic Punch, which gets shielded, because Dynamic Punch will just one-shot the Abomasnow even at full health. I think it barely survives, even if it does. So opponent shields the Shadow Ball correctly, not Shadow Ball but Energy Ball correctly, and Shagun is able to make a catch of Dynamic Punch onto his Froslass. So really good catch, but will get outpaced to the charge move, because Froslass will need to throw the Shadow Ball, whereas whereas Poliwrath can throw a Scald. So gets a debuff, unfortunately. So he's 2-on-2 on getting the debuffs with the Poliwrath. So quite unfortunate. So opponent comes in with a Froslass of their own, and I was going to say that Shagun will look to farm down a lot, because the opponent's Poliwrath is out of energy. So going for this Energy Ball, this should barely knock out the Froslass and will create some extra farm. That was quite risky, because the opponent was very close to an Avalanche. Maybe he died with an Avalanche as well. So but yeah, turns out good for Shagun, because he's able to clutch that win, and this round is his. It's 2-0, took an unassailable lead. So coming in with excuse me, now he's in Malamar v Froslass matchup. So as I said, Froslass will put in a lot of work, and he goes for a Shadow Ball straight away, not deciding to wait, because Shadow Ball does a bit more damage than Avalanche, and if he double shields, it's a tough game up against Malamar, because Malamar is also doing super effective damage, whereas Froslass is doing neutral with the charge move, and both are I think equally squishy. So Foul Play will be able to knock out the Froslass, unfortunately, but he can come in with Malamar of his own and go for a Foul Play. But the opponent's Malamar has a bit of extra energy, so opponent will be able to throw the Foul Play. So not farming a bit of extra energy, but going for this Foul Play, he could have gone for Super Power as well, because Foul Play is resisted. Or yeah. I think it's the right play because if he had gone for the first superpower, the superpower would have done less damage. And now the opponent throws the energy, and this combination play of foul play and superpower has put this Poliwrath in the farm down range. He If it's a dynamic punch, it's going to one shot. Yeah, the opponent is able to get to a dynamic punch, in fact. So, but it was a 2-1, so taking up a win instead. So now the score is 2-1, and he's back in the game. So bringing in Malamar up against Shadow Abomasnow. It's a shadow? No, it's not a shadow. So we will see how this one plays out. And Malamar again will need to land the superpower, but yeah, since he went for the foul play initially, he can throw the foul play next to in order if he wants to knock out the Abomasnow. So going for this superpower, I think I'm not quite familiar with this matchup, so maybe foul play would not have KO'd. But goes for the superpower, and in comes the Shadow Poliwrath, and this is probably the only round where we only have one match video, but I don't think the opponent has a Shadow Poliwrath on their roster. So if the opponent, if Shagun wants, he can claim a win for this particular game, and I think in the hindsight he probably will, because Silph arena tournaments can get really competitive. I have done both. I have claimed a win if the opponent has brought in the wrong Pokemon, and even I have given some rematches for this, and even got there some rematches from some of the opponents as well. So it really depends on it varies from person to person, and the situation as well. Like if it's going very competitive, the matches are very close, you are close to winning a tournament. If the opponent decides to bring a wrong Pokemon, it's within your rights to claim a win. But yeah, definitely bringing Shadow Poliwrath, Shagun can claim a victory for that particular one. So I think that that is what happened. So moving on to the next round's game, it's 3-1. So going up against 13 GOP 37, and GOP is running pretty spicy team. In my opinion, he's running Barbarical. Barbarical is ground and water typing, right? So running 3 water types in this particular game, and let's see how it pans out. So coming in with Samurott against Froslass. So Froslass will be taking a lot of damage with the Hydro Cannons, but since Fury Cutters are basically doing nothing, so Samurott will need to land 2 Hydro Cannons in order to knock out the Froslass. And since the opponent was at energy advantage, he can safely shield that Shadow Ball and go for the Hydro Cannon of its own to knock out the Froslass. And will come in with I was going to say will come in with Empoleon, because Empoleon resists everything that that the Samurott can throw: Hydro Cannon, Blizzard, Megahorn. So but still Hydro Cannon does chunk away, because Empoleon is not that bulky in the Great League. So goes for the Drill Peck, which does some decent amount of damage, but Samurott will be able to beat it to the next charge move. Barely not enough to knock out, but since that Hydro Cannon sneaked in, he was able to knock out the Samurott. But in comes, I think it's a Froslass, yeah, so not Froslass but Whiscash. So in comes Whiscash, and he needs to call the bait here. So will he be able to? Yes, he does. He is able to call the Mud Bomb, and it takes a really amount of the courage in order to not shield. And I think the opponent tried to catch an energy ball there, but that did not happen. And Shagun can safely shield this. Even if it's a Mud Bomb, he should be able to outpace the Whiscash to the charge move, because Mud Bombs will not do anything to the Abomasnow. So able to get to the energy ball and able to win that one. So GG's. And I think really from the opponent's perspective, throwing the Mud Bomb, not getting the bait right, and second, not able to make that catch was really critical. So great plays from Shagun's side, and I think he even waited for a turn just to see whether the opponent was doing a sack swap or not. So so very well played. Moving on to the next game, and he's in a Froslass versus Abomasnow matchup, and Abomasnow, I think over Shadow Abomasnow has one advantage, that it's able to survive an avalanche, whereas Shadow Abomasnow would not have been able to survive at that range. So in comes Whiscash. So Whiscash will be able to survive 2 avalanches. So if the opponent wants to keep the Whiscash alive, he will need to shield, which he does not. So relying on Samurott for the end game. But I think he has left Samurott a bit too much work for do, because Samurott is not that bulky in the Great League either, and Whiscash will be able to spam those charge moves. And since Fury Cutters are basically doing nothing, eventually the combination play of Mud Shot and Mud Bomb should be enough to knock out the Samurott, and he still has a full health Abomasnow. So maybe the opponent is counting on that he will be able to land a Mega Horn onto the Abomasnow, but I don't think I think it's very unlikely to happen, because now the Samurott will have to throw their energy, since Fury Cutter did not do anything, and the Abomasnow will be able to throw the Weather Ball, which should be enough to knock out the Samurott. Samurott will never get a chance to get to a Mega Horn, and yes, I think the opponent left a bit too much work to do for Samurott in the end game. So. But yeah, it is what it is. GG's. Moving on to the next game, I think Shagun has already won this one, but still opting to play the third one. So deciding to bring Shadow Abomasnow against the Samurott. Samurott is doing super effective damage with the Fury Cutters, but Fury Cutters is not a very good fast move in terms of doing the damage. So he'll need to call Mega Horn and decides to let go. It ends up being a Hydro Cannon, but I think what Samurott can do is safely shield and farm down the Abomasnow. So is able to farm down, and Samurott is absolutely loaded on energy, but here comes Empoleon, and Empoleon will be absorbing all the damage coming in from Empoleon. I think he's basically using Empoleon as the sponge. So will be able to absorb all the energy and goes for the Drill Peck. I think Hydro Cannon would have been enough to knock out the Samurott at that range. So goes for the Drill Peck, and in comes Whiscash. So Whiscash will be going for those Mud Bombs, and as I said, Froslass will need to land 2 avalanches. We should be able to I was going to say should be wary of a Sack Swap. So opponent is able to make a catch onto their Abomasnow, and now that he is out of energy because he had to throw, otherwise he would have gotten Weather Ball. And the Whiscash is far too healthy for the Froslass to get to a charge move. And will Empoleon was barely able to get to Hydro Cannon, but got knocked out at the last minute. So yeah, very well played from both the players, but Shagun ended up taking that round. So moving on to the 6th round and the second last one of this particular tournament, going up against Parsible, and I have heard I've heard this trainer's name somewhere, so maybe I think he's a very, very strong trainer. I maybe in some Silph tournaments I've heard his name, but I remember that he's a very good trainer indeed. So he's in a Whiscash matchup up against his Malamar. So going for the Superpower. Superpower is not barely enough to knock out the Whiscash. So Whiscash will be throwing Mud Bomb to KO the Malamar, but he can come in with Froslass and start getting loaded on energy, and with shield advantage and a bit of energy advantage with the Froslass, I think Shagun is in a really commanding position, because there is nothing in Parsible's team which can absorb the damage coming in from the Froslass. So in comes Abomasnow against Shadow Abomasnow against the Froslass. So Froslass I think should get farmed down here with the Abomasnow after Abomasnow shields this avalanche. So Froslass does not get to a charge move, and there is only this poor Empoleon in the back. So Empoleon will just get energy ball and almost one shot with the charge move, but since Powder Snows are double resisted, it will take another Weather Ball to knock out the Empoleon, whereas Empoleon cannot really do anything because Shagun already has a shield at his disposal. So yeah, very well played. Moving on to the next game, and he picking up a very positive lead, and I think that lead really would have made Shagun happy, because he seems to be in a commanding position at this stage. So opponent goes for a Weather Ball, not an Energy Pulse, and able to double up and throw the Weather Ball. Will need to shield, because I think Shagun would like to keep the switch advantage. So going for this Foul Play, and Foul Play will not grab the shield, which is quite a bummer, because Abomasnow will be because now Shagun will need to invest a shield if Abomasnow decides to shield. So he decides to let go of the Malamar. Maybe will come in with. He does not have a Froslass in this particular game, so he will be farming down with Abomasnow. And if the opponent really does not have a very good answer to Abomasnow, with especially with Froslass gone, not the opponent does not have a Froslass, I believe, but he's able to catch a drill peck. If it's a drill peck, it's a really superb catch onto the. Yeah, the opponent draws out the Froslass. I am quite surprised that White they did not bring in their. Yeah, makes sense because the Empoleon was basically a deadweight with both Whiscash as well as Abomasnow, so makes complete sense. But I think Parsival is really on the back foot here and cannot really do much because Abomasnow can simply come in and farm down the Froslass. So yeah, so Froslass barely gets farmed down. I think that was super close. I think Froslass almost was at a charge move. So Shagun will go for will play it safe and will go for the Weather Ball, Energy Ball, but I think Weather Ball would have still been enough to KO the Empoleon despite being double resisted. So moving on to the last game of the round again, Shagun has it in the bag but still playing the third one. So going for this foul play, and the cast form is still decently bulky in comparison to Malamar, and Malamar will be able to just simply spam those moves, whereas since cast form is running water gun, it will take cast form some time to get to the charge move. So able to throw the Weather Ball, but water guns and Weather Balls have chunked away, and Shagun again deciding to lose the switch advantage and keep the shield advantage, and opponent decides to let go of the switch advantage regardless. So bringing in his own Froslass, and with 2 shields up, I think Empoleon should be able to make a decent play out of this Froslass, unless Froslass just lands a Shadow Ball. But since Powder Snows are double resisted, Empoleon will not shield this one, and I think again it's a very safe play from Shagun's, because he recognized that the opponent does not have a very clear answer to his Abomasnow, and he's keeping 2 shields for his own Abomasnow. So recognizing that fact, and goes for I think he will need to land 2 Weather Balls in order to knock out Parsival's Abomasnow. So charge up to back and goes for the Weather Ball. I think Parsival was still switch locked in that particular game, and Cast Form basically cannot do anything. I think all its charge moves are resisted as well as the fast moves. So again, I think this time he does not place it. He does not place it safe and goes for the Weather Ball in order to knock out the cast form. So last game of the tournament, he needs to win this one in order to win, and going up against France with us. So he is in a he's in Empoleon versus Froslass matchup now, and the opponent I didn't really got to see what this is. So they swapped into their Whiscash, and now Shagun, after throwing the Hydro Cannon, will swap into their Abomasnow, which is a smart decision because the Hydro Cannon damage has put in the Whiscash into the Weather Ball range, and he does not shield the Blizzard, and Abomasnow survives. I'm quite surprised that Shadow Abomasnow was able to survive that Blizzard. So Shagun probably recognized the fact that Blizzard will not KO the Abomasnow, and in comes Froslass. Froslass was able to farm down the Abomasnow, and will be able to throw. Shagun is probably playing it risky, and he's relying on his own Froslass, and the opponent decides to let go of their own Froslass, and this basically seals the game because Froslass will be able to knock out the Beetrill, especially with Beetrill not having any kind of shield advantage or energy advantage. And I think the opponent recognized the fact that he's not going to win that one and decides to let go despite of him having the shield, saving time for both the players. So very well played, good games. Moving on to the next game, he is in a Shadow Abomasnow matchup against the Mew, so was able to swap out of that Froslass against Mew matchup. So Mew is staying in surprisingly. Mew throws the Flame Charge, grabs the. Was it an overheat? I think that was an overheat, right? So rocking a very spicy move, because even Flame Charge would have KO'd the Abomasnow. So bringing in their Froslass, and I think I was going to say that opponent might have farmed down, but probably opponent did not want to go shields down, because he recognized for the fact that their Shagun's Froslass is very well alive. So he could not bring in his own Froslass, because the opponent's Froslass was far away from getting farmed down. So coming in with Empoleon, and I think in a lot of games he has used Empoleon as just as a damage sponge. So I don't think that Shagun really, yeah, with Milotic up against Froslass, the game is basically over, because Froslass will need to throw the Shadow Ball in order to do any kind of damage, and the opponent shields the Shadow Ball as well. And he goes for an Avalanche. I think it's going to be a CMP type, but this with Avalanche will not be doing any damage. Milotic in the Great League is still decently tanky. So yeah, it was a CMP tie indeed, and yeah, unfortunately, so this is the decider round. And Shagun told me that he lost the recording of the video, and this is a game from the opponent's perspective. So Shagun leads Malamar into the Milotic. So we'll be going for foul play definitely initially, and maybe in the next time around he'll go for the super pass. So opponent is also farming some extra energy. Going for the Silph should not be enough to knock out the Malamar, but Malamar, as I said, Shagun goes for super power, but the opponent is able to catch a super power onto the Betrayal. So really great catch. But now the Froslass will come in and will start to gather a lot of extra energy. Will absorb the damage coming from Drill Run, and Shagun do not go for an over farm. So Avalanche takes out the Betrayal, and I'll expect Milotic to come back in. So Milotic also farming some extra energy and going for a Silph. And if I think Shagun should let go of the Froslass at this stage. So both the trainers are one Pokemon down but have 2 shields up, and it will come down to Abomasnow of Shagun, because Malamar is almost basically at no health, but it is very close to a charge move though. So Froslass will go for an Avalanche, which obviously gets shielded. I think there is no play there is not much play for Shagun to go on besides shielding this Avalanche, because definitely Froslass is not going for a Shadow Ball. There is no bait game here. So or there is a bait game for Shagun, right. He needs to land an energy ball. He is able to get the bait both the time with the weather ball, and this is definitely going to be an energy ball which is able to knock out the Froslass. And Malamar, as I said, had some decent energy left into the bank and is able to throw the superpower onto the Milotic in order to win this one. And this is what I was saying in the beginning of the video, that shield pressure in this Silph tournaments is very high, and especially in a decider game like this, wherein the last game of the tournament, after you have played like 20 odd games, this last game, if it's a decider, it's pretty huge. And as you can see, Shagun was able to grab both the shields on a shield bait with the weather ball, and that was really crazy, and that really was the deciding factor. And very well played from both the players across, like, throughout the tournament. And thanks Shagun for submitting these videos. I really enjoyed featuring these battles, and if you enjoyed watching these battles as much as I did recording it, do make sure to hit the like and subscribe button. Until next time, peace.